Reapers underground. We hope you survive.
What is up on a Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? The devil doesn't get up that early. Oh, well, I guess maybe he does. We have a very, very big special treat for you guys today, all the way from London in the UK. We have probably one of the most prolific progressive death metal bands I have heard in a very, very long time. So all of you have had a chance a little bit from the postings and stuff on my page, as well as Morgrot Entertainment. And if that doesn't, whet your palate already, if you're a death metal fan, you are definitely going to want to check out today's show. So I want you to share it out anywhere and everywhere that you know that there is a death metal lover. I don't care if you got to wake up your grandma, your auntie, your sister, your cousin. I don't give a shit. Definitely share this out and let's get this rolling. And before we get into the history of this awesome band, Anoxide, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that shit out. That's right. You all motherfuckers know what to do. I say it every single week when Villain Arts Tattoo Conventions, the largest tattoo convention in the United States, comes to your city, your state, your town. Get a high-quality tattoo from some of the best artists in the country. And sadly, the Big Bad Devil Daddy himself will not be appearing at any of the ones throughout the rest of this year, but come 2025, I'm going to be everywhere. So definitely stay tuned for that. Gentlemen, welcome. Jack and Alex from the progressive death metal band Anoxide. Hey, Yabelka, what's going on? Hail Satan to you as well. All right. Don't forget, feel free to ask any questions because they're definitely more than willing to answer any questions you may have. How y'all doing? How's the weather in London right now?
Yeah. It's actually quite nice, to be fair, given the time of year. Normally, nice. Normally it's shit, but it's never really that good. But yeah, it's just all right considering we're mid-September. It's getting colder, but it's sunny, so that's about as much as we can ask for in the UK.
Yeah, I feel that. It's still hotter than Satan's taint here in Nebraska. We just can't seem to get rid of the hot weather. I mean, it's spooky season and it should be cold and it should be like gray outside, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was out in Phoenix earlier this year and during the summer. I was insane. Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, it's 110 every day is just crazy. And then at night it didn't get cold either. I was sitting outside in this bar at midnight and sweating. Fully just sweating. I was it's midnight. Why am I here?
And the humidity is crazy there as well.
I know the humidity is all right. It's obviously so it's dry. But the heat is insane.
Yeah, I'd probably have a bloody nose after a bloody nose.
Yeah, the guys I was hanging out with there, they say it just doesn't really ever get cold. You know, even in their winter, it's like hotter than the summers we get over here.
Yep, that's why a lot of people that are retirees always end up either going there or Texas or Florida in the winter months. So, but Hamilton City though,
yeah, it's great fun, really good fun.
Lots of people that are wanting to go and see metal bands. That's one of the things I love about that area for touring. Yep. So we are here to talk about your new album, Morals and Dogma, which really kind of caught my eye because obviously I'm very much into the occult, and that book always gets mentioned. So I do have some questions about that. But here's a good pick of the guys. Unreal. So when the Metalist PR contacted me about you guys, I mean, I just jumped on it. The first song I heard, I said, unholy shit. This is happening right now, and everybody around the world needs to know. I have a lot of huge black metal and death metal fans that tune in every week. And you guys are incredible. How did this all start? Now, I know, Alex, you're a founding member, correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How did this all begin? Actually,
Yeah, well, okay, it was in 2012. So originally you had Michael, our drummer.
Yep.
His brother, Callum, was the other guitarist. Then we had the guy playing bass and a friend of theirs from school. And then I joined 3 or so months after they'd started. So they those four had just got the band together, and then they're like, we need another guitar player. Then hit me up through a mutual friend. And then issue went from there. So say the original members, 2 of them were brothers, one of them was a friend from school, another guy they found, just do mutual friends, and then again me through a mutual friend. So this was back in end of 2012 we started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And at the time we were all very young. I was the oldest and I was 18 at the time. And then the other guitar player, Callum, he was 15. So he was just still kids at this point. So there was a lot of just trying to.
Yeah, I wasn't bad at that point, but we always used to practice in the same area, and so I would see them all. Yeah. We always just bump into each other, and I'm a little bit older as well, so they were could barely hold up their guitars at the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They're definitely they're all massive now, so it's it's changed a lot. Yeah, long time ago they looked like that. So I've just gotten fatter and hairier, to be honest. That's
Now, was everybody always kind of into death metal? Bands like Meshuggah, Gojira, bands like that. What was kind of some of the influences, the catalysts that said made you want to do this as a band?
This band specifically, or more in terms of what made me want to start playing guitar and music?
This band specifically.
Oh, this band specifically. Okay, at the point in time, I was really just looking for a band. I've been playing guitar for years, and I was really just looking, because the friend who put me in contact with Michael and that, he had heard some demos that Anoxide had done and knew that it would be up my street. So that's why he put me in contact with them. And I listened to it. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I can see a lot of potential here, considering also the fact that we're all still so young. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. Got involved. And then when I first joined, we had a discussion in terms of what direction do we want to take this. And half of the guys wanted to take it in more of a thrash route, and me and the vocalist in particular at the time, we really were like, nah, let's go a lot more down the death metal route. And then as we started writing more, because by that point I very much took a hold of a lot of the writing, so I was like, cool, well, if I just start writing death metal tracks, then that's what we're going to be playing, right? So I just started doing,
if that's what you're pumping out, they have no choice but to
pretty much. So I was like, well, I'll settle this argument. Just if I just write death metal tracks, then that's what we're going to be doing, right? And then as we got into it, The guys definitely, or the two guys that wanted to play more thrashy stuff definitely got on board. And then, as you say, the music is pretty progressive anyway, so it's kind of we don't just stick to like strictly death metal stuff. But yeah, as I said, and then since then it's basically been a lot of experimenting with, I like to get influenced by whatever I'm listening to at that point in time. That's why there's quite a lot of bouncing around between genres and things within the music, because it's just like, I love death metal, I love black metal, so it's just like, fuck it, throw it all together.
What would you say would be one band from each of those genres that were really influencing your writing at that time?
I don't know. Again, because the record was written over, basically the record was written between 2015 and 2018. So I listened to
just in general.
Yeah. Okay. So if you listen to some songs, so for instance, the songs that were written at the beginning of that window, I was really listening to lots of bands like Benighted and Aborted and things like that.
There we go.
Yeah, and then as I got things started to get a bit more progressive towards the end of it. So if you listen to a lot of the more progressive tracks on the record, they were written towards the end because I was like really into like Opeth and things. So I was like, all right, let's throw all these genres at a track. But then in terms of black metal, I mean, I love black metal as well. So the black metal band Dude from Belgium, I'm like a huge fan of theirs. So that kind of comes through in a lot of the sections as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but as I said, the record was written through such a over such a long period of time. But then also the long track, for instance, the Starve and Decadence, in the middle, there's like a bit where it drops out and it gets all quite clean. There's lots of like synth and almost like orchestral stuff going in. So the producer and I, when we were sort of coming towards the end of the recording process, were like, that section sounds a little bit just empty and bare. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's get some orchestral stuff on and get some Hans Zimmer vibes going. Like, let's throw more at it, and it ended up coming out really well. So I said, in terms of an influence, it's quite hard to pinpoint it because it's kind of like whatever I'm into at that point in time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of my viewers are always kind of interested in like what bands were kind of influencing your writing at the time and how it has progressed up to this point. Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking 2012 and it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
What I mean?
So 2012 was when the band started, but I started writing this record in 2015 because we did an EP that was released in 2015. And then right after that, it was like, all right, back into the writing, finished writing it in 2018. And then we started recording it in 2018. But then we had such a ball ache recording it because we kind of, we got into it and then like members left and then COVID hit and then we kind of didn't really record anything through COVID. And so the whole recording process was a long time. So we didn't actually end up getting the record back until end of 2022. And then by this point, all the band members were kind of involved in lots of other things outside the life. So we kind of sat on it for a couple of years where we had the record, but it was like, well, we're not really in a position to put it out because we're all kind of busy doing other stuff in our own lives. So it's been a long time getting it out. But yeah, in terms of, to answer your initial question, in terms of influences for the record, say Benighted, Aborted, Opeth, Gojira obviously comes through a lot. Hour of Penance, they were a huge influence. I remember writing some of the tracks. So I remember when they released that, what was that album, Regicide? Something came out in like 2014-15 time. The one it's got like a helicopter on the front and you're looking up at like a statue. That album cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when that came out, I was like, wow, that's an amazing record. So that was sort of played a big influence on the writing of this album.
First time I never heard anyone not say Mayhem.
Yeah, honestly, like
Edible Corpse.
Yeah,
that would be me if I said it because my
knowledge. Shit. There ain't nothing wrong with it. There ain't nothing wrong with it, but I'm just like, it's so cool to hear some more bands that were not necessarily obscure, but just on the different ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Like you mentioned Mayhem. Like I like Mayhem, they're cool, but that's not really the type of black metal that I'd really gravitate towards. I'd much prefer your sort of I don't know, your atmospheric in terms of like your the way I joke about it with my friends, you know, like woods and trees black metal over your sort of like Satan black metal, if you get what I mean. Like
I do.
Those kind of things. So more like we're talking standing on top of a mountain range, like look, that kind of thing, rather than like burning people alive.
I love it.
Yeah, like with the video we did, we were like trying so hard to think of something to do which wasn't just standing in a forest looking really hard.
Right. All those old pretentious videos from back in the day.
Yeah. So we thought, you know, there's a lot of you know, just guys kind of just trying to look cool. So we thought we'd go for something a little bit different with the animation that we got done for that. But yeah, I think it came out all right.
Right on. We actually have Yep, for sure. We got one question so far. Yabelka asks, what inspires you to compose songs and how long does it typically take to write one track?
Okay, so from my part, generally how the writing process works is I will write like the song in terms of the guitar part and structure it. And then I'll write like an outline of drums or how I think the drums should be. And then Michael will kind of either base his idea off of that, or sometimes he'll have a better one, or sometimes play exactly, you know, but I'll kind of put him, this is what I think it should be. And then we'll go from there. But in terms of how long it takes, I really don't know. Oh, that's such a hard question.
That is a hard question. I've never even been asked that one before. I mean, I've had one song take like a month to finally flesh out. You know?
I mean, generally, once I get into it, it's not too bad because you kind of capitalize on that moment of inspiration and you really get into it. Then we're talking, it's a matter of days generally, you know. So I've had it before where I'll write like half a song in an evening, and then the next day I'll write the other half, and that's it. Cool, that's it, done. And then things will be tweaked and changed over like the coming weeks or months. But in terms of like the main bulk, like meat and potatoes of the song, generally that'll be done within a period of a few days. Or the opposite will happen where I'll get stuck halfway, and then I'll be like, keep trying. It's not going anywhere. I'm not liking it, and then I'll shelve it for a bit and go work on something else, and then come back to it in a month or so's time. So, for instance, that the last song on the record, which is like the 10-minute one, To Starve in Decadence, that I got about halfway through, couldn't think of anything. Where are we taking this from here? Couldn't think of anything. So I shelved it for, I don't know, a few weeks, went and continued writing the other songs on the record, and then came back to it. And I was like, right, I'm inspired now. Let's go. So, yeah, generally it's kind of, once I get into it, it's generally done within a few days. And when I say a few days, it's sort of, you know, working on it 4 or 5 hours, whatever a day. But it's just kind of that moment of inspiration can take weeks. That's kind of what you're waiting for.
Because I mean, you know, we're about to play something from about 6 years ago, and just thinking about that question, I'm like, to me, the complexity, all the, you know, different nuances, the different parts, I'm like, it has to take some time. There's no way you can just shit that out. You know what I mean? But
my part in it is just waiting to get sent ridiculously hard tab or video of how to play it. Trying to wait for that and lock myself away for a while.
I mean, you almost kind of have to woodshed, you know.
He says like being waiting to be sent ridiculously hard parts. I like to do a lot of like playing through chords. So where like you hold down a chord and play through, and obviously on a bass doesn't really work. So I'll be like, yeah, why don't you do this whole thing where you can like tap the chord out and like do all these like slides to kind of mimic what I'm doing? And it's like great on his part. So that's right laugh to learn.
It got me through lockdown, that's for sure.
I think that really made a lot of us better players, in my opinion, during that period of time. And you guys got hit really hard. The restrictions were fucking ridiculous.
You don't like reading as much as you guys do, unfortunately. We're happy to just let the state.
Because I can remember we did there was a promoter in London that was doing an online show. And the top billing band was a black metal band from London, pretty well known. I can't remember the fucking name. I try to forget that whole period because it was just so tough for being in a band at that time. But just a lot of awesome talent that comes out of there. And I was in a doom metal band called Black Tar Superstar. We sent in a little bit for that. It was like a mixed bill, all different types of genres of metal. So, oh man, that was about the only thing that got me through that period. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we lost a lot of venues as well. So many venues.
Yeah. Us too. We lost some serious fucking staples. Shit, St. Vitus just closed its doors forever. They just could never recover.
Yeah.
So, my goodness. But we're going to check out the Immortality of Faith. Enjoy. My gods, that was just fucking awesome. So you can you can definitely hear the thrash influence at that time, I think. Like a little bit of everything, but excellent fucking grooves. But definitely very different in a lot of ways from what you're doing now. You could definitely see that nice progression of you guys just kept up in the game. Because, you know, when we start listening to some of the stuff off of Morals and Dogma, I think everybody out there in the Morgrot universe is going to be like, unholy fuck. It got that much heavier, that much more complex. And we love that. We love that avant-garde movement that's kind of going on in death metal and black metal. Things are kind of changing, melding, but also, you know, really kind of taking a step back, you know, in the art of composing, if that makes sense. And I think you guys really fucking nail that.
Okay, when you say take a step back in the art of composing, what do you mean by that?
Like how, let's say, Handel or Bach, Beethoven would really kind of like, I don't know, just very, very technical, lots of different time signatures, which I love that shit. I love that. Yeah. I'm a classically trained jazz drummer, so I love that shit.
Yeah.
So when you throw, you know, pig squeals and heavy guitar and chugs and blast beats, I'm just like, woo. That's mostly the out here as well.
Yeah, I think that's like, as I mentioned, I joined a few years ago, and they played me the album, and I was just like, whoa, this is a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Not that I didn't think it was going to be interesting, but like just the evolution of what you just showed and what's on the album is quite substantial. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be difficult but fun to learn at the same time. And it was. I think "To Starve in Decadence" is a really long song at the end of the album. Is still my favorite. Yeah, I mean that's what, 10 minutes long or something. And,
just
We're no strangers to that here. For instance, I'm a huge Merciful Fate fan, as I'm sure most people are. And they had a 12-minute song called Satan's Fall.
Full.
Yeah, I mean, that was just part after part after part, switch, change groove, the whole nine, and nothing about it was boring to me. You know what I mean? So shit, if that's what it takes to get your creativeness out, who cares how long it goes? If it fucking kicks ass, people are gonna listen, and apparently they are.
No, for sure, I agree. I generally prefer longer tracks, especially these days, just because I like music that takes you on a journey, and you listen to it, and then you get to the end, and you're like, "Fuck, that was cool," and you can't really do that in like 3-4 minutes.
It's tough.
At least it is incredibly tough to have somewhere. So you start in one place, and then you go here, and then there, and then there, and there, and then at the end of it, you finish in the final destination. You sit back and you're like, wow, that was really cool. Like, do you know the Swedish band called An Abstract Illusion?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's that song called off the most recent album? In Heavens Above, You Become something. It's something like that. It's called like In the Heavens Above. Like, it's like a long track name, but that is one of the best songs I've like ever heard, because it has that whole thing. It's like 15 minutes long or so, and he starts in one place, and then it takes you on this massive journey, and then by the end of it, you just sit there like, wow, that was incredible. Like all the different parts and sections and emotions it took me through, it's great. That's the kind of thing that I want to aspire to be able to write, or try to write at least.
Well, and no matter what the song's about, I feel like it's telling its own individual story. Like an album can have a theme, but every song within it can tell a story. It doesn't necessarily make it a concept album. But longer tracks like that, I mean, you're trying to get across all the emotions, tension, release, all that stuff. Sometimes it takes longer. We ain't got no problem with that here at the Underground, let me tell you. We love it.
That's the problem now with a lot of people just don't have the attention span for some of the stuff now.
That bugs the shit out of me, as I'm sure it does you guys as well.
Well, it's all like, if you can't condense it into a 6-second clip, they can quickly flip through. Then that's all you're going to get. So
damn,
it's cool, when people are still buying albums to listen to start to finish, rather than just because like looking at the Spotify stats and stuff for the songs, it kind of, you get a hell of a lot of plays on the first song just for 20 seconds or something before their attention's already gone. They don't really stick with it. Those are getting better for sure, but I think that's typically like with my other bands and stuff. That's kind of the way it is. You want those long, well composed ones, but you also need to be wary that it needs a hook. It needs to keep people interested. So I think there's a balance for that one.
I mean, clearly, in just the track we heard, there's great hooks in it. I think any true metal fan is a chugga lover. There's just something about it. It brings a primal groove that just it forces your entire body to start to move. So now, were you guys able to do any kind of touring on that record?
Which record? Sorry, the one.
The one I just played.
Yeah. So at that point in time, we were playing a lot more shows. I can't remember. It was like 6 years ago now. So that came out. So I can't remember. We were playing a lot more shows back then. But then obviously I said after that, then we kind of went into recording this record, the Morals and Dogma record, and then like COVID hit and that kind of shut everything down, obviously. So back then we were playing a lot more shows.
I think the biggest one was when you played with Deicide, wasn't it? Before I joined, that was quite cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was great fun. That was really good. That was really good fun. That was cool. We got to open up for Deicide. That was an amazing experience. So
Oh, it had to be in the presence of Glenn Benton. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm sure he's an interesting cat.
Yeah, well, we didn't really get to talk to them much because there was separate dressing rooms and they kind of keep themselves. And not that, like, to be fair, we didn't really even try to like approach them. It's just kind of like they were over in their dressing room doing their thing, and then you see them play and go on stage, and then that was that. So we didn't really interact with them much. There was like, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say he was begging for autographs. You know, he was like fangirling all over.
Well, he was begging across what from us, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did the venue basically pick you guys to do it? Is that kind of how that works over there? Because here, if we were to any like independent band opens up for a larger act, you usually have to sell like a sick amount of tickets. You know what I mean? Just to get a good placing somewhere on the bill. How did that come about for you?
Yeah, it depends on the promoter. Generally, in the UK, you don't get that where people try and sell tickets. And we've had it before where people will give you a load of tickets to sell, and but that's more like you get commission on everything that you sell. But if you don't sell anything, fine. So they're not trying to like. It's more just like, hey, here's 50 tickets. You sell those, I'll give you whatever the percentage is that they decide. And if you don't, then fine. Give me the tickets back, and like no hard feelings. But yeah, generally what will happen is the promoter will contact you, or you contact the promoter. So it's I mean, if you like anything, if you play on a scene long enough, you get to know people. Promoters get to know you. They know like, oh, we need an opening band for this. Who will be a good fit? And that's generally how you get shows.
Oh, and then, that's amazing. That shit does not go down here in the States. Let me tell you.
In the UK, it's quite a big thing. Not every tour package has it, but local supports is quite a big thing. So, if you're getting like a 3-band tour package rolling through, and the promoter, because to make it worth the promoter's while, he's like, well, I don't want to book 3 bands. I want to book 4 or 5 bands. So we'll get a couple of local bands in to open up the show. So that's quite a big thing in the UK. Because sometimes you do get larger tour packages that come through, or tour packages that say exclusively we're not having local supports. So obviously you can't do anything with that. But a lot of it, the local supports is like a big thing here. So if you look at when bands will do their UK leg of a tour, you'll have like the 3 tour package bands, but there'll be 5 bands on the bill, and each show will have 2 different opening acts, and they're generally like local bands from that area.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. We've had some great like opportunities through doing that, like playing with like Cryptopsy's another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've done like Cattle Decapitation as well.
Oh, yeah. I love those guys. We've interviewed the guitarist a good couple of times. He's a good friend of ours.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Just a lot of these extreme metal bands, especially from the States, they go over there. They're such great people. But here in the States, it's like you could do a tour stop and 20 people show up.
Yeah,
we've been there.
It's over here as well. Not so much in London. London, like you can book a show on most nights of the week and people will turn up. Like even if it's a bunch of unknown bands, just because there's a really good scene in London, and because it's so densely populated as well. There's 11 million, 10 million people that live here. So, it's a very densely populated city. So it's like if you're trying to fill a venue of 100 to 150 people, if it's like a small underground show, you got like 10 million people to pick from. It's like you can get like 100 people along. It's like generally London gets good turnouts, but then you had it before where you played small towns in like the Midlands somewhere, and as you say, you're playing to like 20 people. So it's the same.
I've heard of some there's a lot of independent festivals out there in some of the Midland area that seems to be pretty good, because like you said, it's more of like, I don't know, the I guess you could say almost like a country area where you don't have that many people to draw from, but they don't have anything to do normally. So sometimes it goes well, sometimes it don't.
Well, you say like festivals during the summer, people run the Midlands has a lot of festivals, because as you say, there's a lot of like farmland there. So farmers will rent out
big
their
open air.
yeah, they'll run like the big open air festivals. So that's popular through the summer for sure.
Have you guys played some of those larger festivals?
I haven't. Jack has.
Yeah, with my other band, thrash band, Bang Over. I did one called Bloodstock.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's in, as saying, the Midlands. That's kind of my second home. I've been every year except one since 2008. So I'm kind of ingrained into that now. But yeah, it's about 15,000 people, give or take. Yeah,
that's like a dream right there for most bands.
yeah. Well, we won like a Battle of the Bands competition, got put on a very small stage, but it was so small we ended up having like circle pits around the entire stage in the tent we were in, which was pretty cool.
I mean, that's sick as fuck right there. I would love to see that.
This show was hilarious because I was obviously there in the crowd watching it for them, and when they played their last song, he crowd surfed into the crowd, and the crowd carried him from the small stage that they were playing over to the main stage crowd, whilst another band was playing. He still got his guitar on and stuff, and put him like crowd surfed him across the main stage crowd over the barrier, whilst he's still all like wired up with his guitar with like the wireless on. Yeah, and I remember watching. I was one of the guys helping carrying him, and it's just like, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think Annihilator were about to go on. They're like, "Fuck's this guy?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, this man's playing, and this like his guy with the guitar's being crowd surfed across. It's like, what the fuck, like.
Yeah.
No, you kind of get a sense of feeling like you've really arrived when you have that kind of experience.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm hoping to play that again we'll see with Anoxide, if this does well enough. And it's a really tough one to get on the bill for.
I believe that.
They run a battle bands and
every band in the UK wants to get on that festival.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's tough. Ooh. You have to be around for a long time and know lots of people, or just be doing very, very well and have lots of hype around you. Then you get a place. But yeah, it's every band in the UK wants to play that festival. It's kind of like the mecca of like metal for the UK.
Oh,
absolutely. Like you said, you have to kiss a lot of ass to kind of get the right people on your side as well. It's not the most fun thing.
Well, sometimes, you have to eat cake in order to get somewhere you want to be.
Yeah.
Essentially. But do you like the smaller, more intimate crowd, or do you kind of prefer, something as large as that? Like, which one do you like better?
Both different. So I played in terms of like big open air festivals, again, not with this band, but I played Gotham Fest in Slovakia, which is more of like a big open air like stage festival. So that was really cool. And I don't know, it's such a hard question because they're both good for different reasons. It is a really great experience when you get like a small venue that's rammed and you got the crowd right in front of you and it's going crazy.
Like all that energy.
Everything's really hot and sweaty and that's great. That is really good. It is cool though from our point of view when you play like a bigger stage and you get to stand out over the crowd and you're like, yeah, this is cool. It gives you that kind of like rock star moment where you're like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
But like it is, I don't know, you can't beat those sort of like small intimate shows where everything's just going nuts and
there's a place in Bristol in the west of England, in the West Country. And one of the most famous venues there called the Griffin it's literally just someone's bedroom really with a PA system. And it's just above a pub. And some pretty big names are played there, but it's like 30 people are in that room. It's full, so kind of the peak of that intimacy.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's great having people that are just going in the paint, just like you guys are, playing your hearts out, and there's just this big energy. I think honestly, not just because everyone's kind of crammed in like cattle, but because everybody's just so supercharged from what's going on. Sometimes those are the best shows. But I've played shows, not nearly as big as like something like Bloodstock, but where, you know, you got a couple thousand people and you're just looking out at everybody and everybody's like, yeah, you know, got the horns in the air and everything, and they're trying to kill each other. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know? And at the same time, you're like, thank fuck I'm on stage and not in that, because I just saw somebody go down.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think honestly, a mixture of the two is ideal. Then you get the best of both worlds. You know, they're both great for different reasons. So, yeah.
As long as I kind of feel like, as long as you don't have such a huge divide from the stage to the barricade, like sometimes it could be, you know, a couple thousand feet away, like the crowd is not really up there, you know, closer to you, and you're like further away. I'm not sure how they set that up over there, but I know sometimes that kind of sucks because you can't connect with, you know, people that are crushed up against the gate there a little bit, but still just great feeling. Question for you, Aaron. What's going on, my brother? He says, question, was stage fright ever an issue for you guys?
Ups and downs. I don't know. I've been through like phases with it, but it's never been stage fright in terms of like scared about getting on stage. It's more like worried about things going wrong.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, that's the thing that is more like frightening, like things going wrong, be that through our own fault or through no fault of our own. So for instance, I don't use it anymore. I had some like amp years ago, you know, it's an Engel amp, and it kept breaking on me. It was kind of every time I used it, it was like 50-50 whether it would actually like work. So I had it blow on me a couple of times, like whilst we were playing. And then I was like, well, I can't play the rest of the song. And then I have to kind of like mid-set try and ask another band if I can like use their head, things like that. So during that period, I used to get worried quite a lot before going on stage. I was just like, oh, is this fucking amp gonna like survive or not? So yeah, things like that. So generally, like I don't really get, as long as assuming that we're all like well rehearsed and well prepared, I don't get like a stage fright. It's more a case of worried about things going wrong.
Yeah, I second that. It's yeah, especially with this band, like with my thrash band, for example, you know, that's just chaotic, and we end up playing about 100 BPM more than it should be played at. But
isn't that how it always goes, though?
Yeah, with at the moment our setup, you know, we're playing to the drummer's playing with, you know, a click in his ear, and it's like
interesting.
It's very like precise, so you have to.
But then that also makes it. Are you saying about Michael playing to a click? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like Michael, he plays to a click, so it's very precise in that sense. But then that gives me another level of almost like anxiety, because I now know he has to be locked into this click, and if he's not, then everything goes out.
Shift.
Yeah, something goes out, and then it kind of it makes things a lot tighter for sure. Like our live shows since he's been playing to a click have been significantly tighter, and like we play the songs a lot better. But it's now there's a lot larger room for error, because if he goes out, we can't kind of like, you know, mush it back in again. It's like, right, he has to like now somehow get back in time with his click. So it's going to be very obvious, because he'll almost have to like stop and then come in back in again. It's like, so yeah, it's definitely I much prefer it, obviously, hence why we do it. But again, that just means that there's now more to go wrong. So as I said, now when we do play live, there is that kind of thought process as well. Like, God, I hope he doesn't go out of time with the click. But yeah, so far so good. I think again that's where it comes back to the being well rehearsed factor. You know, big time.
And there's only one Gene Hoglan in the world, because I think he's like the only extreme metal drummer. And I loved our interview because he talked about it extensively, about not having a click track in his ear. He doesn't use that, and I just think that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean, your stuff is so intricate, though. I almost think you might have to have it.
Well, the reason that we did it was because Michael would always speed up when we would play.
Ooh,
not in terms of like speed up mid song, but if the song's meant to be played at 150, he'd be playing it at 170.
Because he's full of energy.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, exactly. It's completely understandable. You know, it's adrenaline, full of energy, all that sort of stuff. So, but because, as you say, a lot of the riffs are really quite intricate. It was making it incredibly hard to play, where it just sounded shit. Really, you know, these sort of intricate riffs are now just sound really muddy, and they're not played how they're supposed to be played, and they don't sound correct. So it was one of the driving factor for getting him on a click was to keep him sort of to that tempo where it's like, right, so then the songs will actually sound better because you can hear sort of the intricacies and the nuances within the riff. So that
and you could probably relax a little bit too.
yeah, in some ways,
instead of like, motherfucker, I gotta cram all these 30-second notes.
I mean,
this fucking fast.
Honestly, some of the songs are still like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, it's actually annoying. When we first started, our songs were a lot simpler. And I used to go on stage and you'd be sort of kind of drunk, well, quite drunk actually a lot of times. And you go on stage and you'd play these songs, and you'd really get into it, and you'd be running around and having an absolute laugh, and it was brilliant. And then as the songs got more and more technical, you know, I much prefer it in terms of the music and the writing, but it means that playing live now, you kind of very much standing there like, hey, I got to play these songs, like, don't fuck it up. You know, there isn't really, you can't sort of run around and have a laugh and be like swigging beers in between, like, in between riffs and things and stuff like that. So I remember,
you don't want your hands to go numb because you're fucking over at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's more, you have to like find that nice middle ground before going on stage. You're like, I can have a couple of beers, but not too many.
Exactly right.
Three beer limit. Yeah, we've all learned that the hard way.
Yeah, you need to go back to Aaron's question about stage fright. You need enough to kind of take that stage fright anxiety away, but not too much that it impacts the playing.
Exactly right.
You never want to get to that point where you think you're doing really well, but you can't tell that you're actually playing appallingly. So
especially, I mean, a fan will point that out too. Yeah, you're thinking you're doing great, and they're like, "That's not right."
I'll tell you one of the big things as well, just while we're on it, the guitar strings breaking is it's all right for bass, but when you've got, your locking tremolo and stuff, if a string goes, you can't just easily fix that, and it knocks everything else out. So that's happened to me so many times. I'm slightly cursed with it. But,
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I think one of our shows, again with my other band, I finished it just dancing on stage for the last two songs because I had nothing else to do. So beer helped with that.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get into your new album, and we're going to start with letting everybody out there in the Morgrot universe to hear the Ceaseless March. Check it out. my goodness, I feel worn out. That's exactly out there in the Morgrat universe what they were talking about earlier. All those little subtle nuances, all those little, mini leads that you're throwing in on the guitar there. Obviously, the rhythmic changes are just very abundant, but at the same token, it still grooves. How the fuck does he do that? Because usually when you're doing that many rhythmic changes, the groove kind of gets lost, especially if somebody's like blast beating to death. That's one thing I always look at with extreme metal bands, especially the drummers, because I'm like, but is it going to groove though? Can you make people, bop and get into it that way? You guys just, and the vocalist, unholy shit, man. Like I said, nothing against the guy that was singing for you guys before, but this guy really brings it hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. He definitely, he's definitely a better vocalist in my opinion. At least it's like, yeah, he definitely did a really good job with it because he, again, we got him through lockdown, and we basically sent him all the tracks without any lyrics on it, and we were like,
yeah,
write your own lyrics, write your own vocal patterns, and I was chasing him for like months, being like, because he lives up in the north of England, we live in the south.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, can you like send me some, just like, it doesn't have to be anything like impressive or amazing. I'm not talking like, I'm not expecting like full on mixes or production here. Just send us some like rough demos of what you've got. And he's like, oh man, I'm not really happy with it. And this went on for like months, and I'm kind of thinking like, is he doing much or anything? One time he came down to London and he like smashed all this stuff out, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that's really good, like fair play. It's just like, yeah. And then he'd obviously had been putting in the work. He just, from his own personal point of view, he was like, I don't want to send it or show you guys until it's sort of perfect in my own mind. So I was like, yeah, I can respect that for sure. But yeah, I said he smashed it. He did a really, really good job.
Now it also kind of sounds like he's got a little bit of deathcore, maybe grindcore influences as far as his voice goes. He's got so many different ranges, and then like I said, there's a period in one of your other songs that it sounds like he's kind of giving you that pig squeal, but it's not annoying, and it's really kind of nice to hear because it adds a different dimension. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's why I think when I sent him the record, because I asked because I'd known him for years, and he's played in some other bands and stuff, so I knew he was a really good vocalist, and I was like, would you be up for doing the vocals on this record? And he was like, oh, I'm not really sure. He was like, send it over and like I'll take a look. And then he messaged back pretty quickly being like, yes. He's like, this is exactly what I'm after, because he knew it would challenge him in terms of all like the stylistic changes, so he could do that with his voice. Sometimes he's got more just like your typical death metal stuff, then there's black metal stuff, there's all like the pig squealing things. It's like he knew that he could get very creative with it and throw all these different sort of colors at it.
And it works flawlessly.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like tracking vocals was great fun, because it was me, Chris, the vocalist, went down to the studio, because the studio that we used is in like on the south coast of England in Portsmouth. So we went down there, and it took us 4-5 days, something like that. We stayed down. It was like 4 days. We stayed down there and went through, did all the vocals. And so that was really good fun, because we just kept sort of being like, well, how about you try this? How about you try that? And he was like, yeah, and just kept experimenting with all these different sort of vocal, like metal vocal styles. So yeah, I was really pleased with it, how it came out. It came out better than I initially thought it would have.
Hell yeah.
And
so
I think
go ahead.
Yep. I was just gonna say, I think he kept his throat lubricated the entire recording session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. When we got the guy, the producer, he was like, okay, yeah, so your tips for vocal recording is like stay away from the fizzy drinks and the beers. Chris is just like, yeah, whatever, mate. Cracks a beer, and he's just like drinking the whole way through the vocal sessions and smashes it. And the producer's just like, fair enough, like, whatever works for you then. Like,
he's like, well, fuck me, I'm never going to suggest that again, because you just
right.
Yeah. I mean, not too far from some Will Ramos shit there. If it's always a testament to somebody who is constantly practicing their vocals, just screams, all the different ones, and it's clean. It doesn't sound forced. And looks like you got a new fan for sure. Aaron said, "Fuck yes, I would start my day jamming the fuck out of that."
Yeah, sweet.
Love it.
It just grabs you. It just grabs you, and that's why we had to get you here to the underground. So Morals and Dogma, whose idea was that? Was that the vocalist?
Well, to call it Morals and Dogma.
Correct.
Yeah, kind of mine and the vocalist. So obviously I haven't read it, but I'm very much aware of the book Morals and Dogma.
Oh, it's an interesting read. Yeah,
I'd like to read it at some point for sure. But so I should read it considering we've named our album after it. But yeah, I'm very much aware of sort of the whole idea behind it. It's all about like Freemasonry and everything like that. So I knew that would tie in with
Scottish Rite specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I knew that would tie in with the lyrical themes that Chris was talking about, because it's very much about sort of like political conspiracies and like sort of social issues and things like that. So I kind of knew it would tie in.
Hidden agendas.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of stuff like that. So I knew it would tie in. Initially,
that does fit.
Initially, I wanted to call it Immorals and Dogma as like a play on that.
But that would have been cool.
Yeah, but then the issue is immorals isn't a word. So I knew that if we called it Immorals and Dogma, then the people would just be like, well, you're an idiot because immorals isn't actually a word. And it's like, we spoke about it and I was like, is that really a road we want to go down? Or should we just call it Morals and Dogma? So we're like, right, we'll stick with Morals and Dogma. So yeah. But initially we were going to call it Immorals and Dogma. But yeah,
I still would have dug that though. I mean, if you look at a lot of today's fucking slang, I don't know what half these kids are fucking saying these days. I don't know about you guys, but there's like, skibbity and whatever else that they're coming up with these days. It's like,
you should come hang out in London, man. There's words new words every week. Yeah. Yeah, like London slang is a big thing because then even people from like the Midlands and north of England have no idea what a lot of people from London are saying.
Yeah, I don't know what most people are saying.
Yeah,
it just makes me feel old.
Is there one phrase that sticks out?
Oh, phrase? No, it's less phrase. Just like words that people use. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You're more well versed. Do some research on this. I want to know because I'll tell you, these kids here, hell no, no, it just gets dumber by the minute, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely digging the concept of the record. Every track. Is there one track that stands out? There was a question earlier from Cody that said, what's your favorite song from your band? I'm sure probably a lot of that would be at least a track or two from the new record. I'm assuming. Yeah. Is there one that kind of stands out for you more than others?
Yeah, the last track, To Starve in Decadence, that's the 10 minutes.
I knew it.
That's definitely my favorite, just because that's kind of, I think this is the most well written. And when I spoke earlier about a song taking you on like a journey, I think that song kind of does that, and especially in the middle where it kind of, you get that clean section with all the synths and the orchestration stuff, and I think that's done really well and tastefully. Because I remember when I spoke to the rest of the guys and said that, this middle section's sounding a little bit like empty and bare. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put some like synths in there. And Chris was like, oh my God, is this going to come out like really symphonic and cringe and it's going to sound shit and just not what we're about?
We're not doing
and it's more like it's synth, but it's more like haunting kind of soundscape type stuff rather than like a symphonic sort of section. So yeah, I think that was done really well and sort of tastefully, and it kind of brings that real epicness to it. So as I said, yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite song off the record.
Hell yeah.
Also, like the song that you played, the Ceaseless March, I really like that as well. Again, I think that's
so
very
good.
well written. I like the fact it's a bit different with all like there's a lot of like melodic stuff going on in there, but like within the riffs.
Yeah,
like, so the riffs will still be heavy, but there's kind of like a melody still going with inside it. So I think,
especially that awesome guitar solo that's going on while the vocalist is still basically singing the chorus part there.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
How about you, Jack?
Yeah, mine's the same. Funnily enough, I think when I wasn't in the band a few years back, had a bit of a drive with the drummer Michael, and he played me Starving Decadence, the whole thing. I was just like, man, I need to be involved in this somehow. This is really cool. So yeah, that's not to be boring, but yeah, there's that one.
It's not boring at all. It's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
Can't wait for everybody out there in the Morgott universe to hear it. So you better go and find it.
I think all four of us in the band think that song's our favorite as well. I think we will sort of all unanimously agree that's our go-to or our favorite of it. But again, I like a lot of them for different reasons. Like the song "Age of Austerity," I really like that. This cool section that I like the verses in it where you've just got like blast beats and vocals, and there's no guitar or bass. Well, there's like a little bit of guitar and bass, just doing like a chuggy.
So much space.
Yes. Yeah, because when initially that I had that idea, and Chris was like, "No, it's going to sound shit. It's going to sound really weak and all that." And I was like, "Well, just try it, and we'll see how it goes." And when I said, by the way, when I said just try it, what that really means is you're fucking doing this. But yeah, it's just like I was like, mate, the songs are recorded. Like we're not bending on this. It's happening. But no, he did it, and he even afterwards he was like, "Yeah, that does sound really good." I think he was maybe, I don't know. I think maybe just drums and vocals. He was thinking it would just sound a bit empty and thin, but it didn't. Again, that goes back to the show's testimony to how good of a vocalist he is. The fact that he can just like hold up his vocals on his own without sort of guitars and bass blasting behind him.
Absolutely.
That's cool. And the outro to that as well, that song I really like. And you said about time signatures earlier, where the outro to that song, I just threw loads of time signatures at it because I wanted like a heavy chuggy riff, sort of breakdown type riff to finish the song. And the riff before it is in 5/4. So I was like, oh, why don't I do like a heavy breakdowny riff in 5/4? That'd be a bit weird because it's kind of, you want to groove, but it's a bit of an odd time signature. So then my next thought was like, well, if I'm gonna like do a breakdown thing in odd times in analog time signature, why don't I just throw loads at it? And so it's constantly flipping between like 4/4, 7/4, and 5/4, depending on what part of the riff you're in, to make it kind of really weird. So you want this kind of you want to like bang your head on this pulse, but it just doesn't quite lock in right.
Right. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like a robot breaking down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite fun to play that live because you often get that reaction where people want to like,
what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, they want to bang their head, but it's like, oh shit, I missed the beat. Like,
yeah. As long as you don't catch yourself out as well whilst playing it.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, if anything, music history has taught us that, Tool got everybody into weird shit. Lots of different time signatures. And then, bands like Gojira and Meshuggah started giving us all these real heavy, intricate stuff. And it just made people want it more. So for everybody that's out there like, damn, I can't get with this, but it's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? So you're still getting the job done. And personally, I love that shit. I think it grooves in a different way.
Yeah, no, for sure. You say about Meshuggah, I saw the big festival that goes on in Slovenia called Metal Days. I saw them.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's great, amazing festival. Probably the best I've ever been to. It's like really, really good. But yeah, Meshuggah headlined that a few years back, and they did this like clean interlude, like clean guitar part as an interlude, like as in the middle of one of their songs or in between songs or something. And the crowd tried to give it that all like. And it's like, there is no way you're clapping in time with this. And like me and my mate were pissing ourselves laughing about it because everything was out of time. And it was just like, God, this sounds horrible. Like, this crowd trying to clap in like a strict 4/4 beat to these like weird
not gonna happen
going on. It's very amusing for sure.
Oh, I love it. Man, so are you guys officially signed to any label? Do you have any label backing you at this point, or strictly independent?
Strictly independent at the moment.
Fuck! What are they
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some deal for some guy to make us some CDs for free, but that was it
Oh
really.
yeah, no, I suppose that. Yeah, that's kind of like
Well,
So
that's not bad.
yeah, so we've got a distribution deal with a label in Japan.
Nice.
So that's cool, but it's not like that's just strictly distribution. So in terms of like backing the record and everything, that's all independent. He's just
No,
helping us
I
like
actually
expand our reach.
I think that's fantastic. Most bands nowadays know that the better deal is always going to be a distribution deal.
Yeah.
Because you're able to get your music out to all the corners of the world much easier. And then from as far as promotion and shit, I mean, between promoters, I don't know if you would get into having an agent or what they call tour bookers and stuff like that. You could do all that shit yourself.
Yeah.
And, you have more control over it. So I definitely applaud you for that. But seriously, though, like fucking, Napalm Records, what the fuck? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, honestly, if they come knocking, like I won't be saying no.
yeah.
Shit, man. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, honestly, that's kind of our thought process is in terms of like, 'cause we did spend a while chasing labels, but then labels get thousands of emails every day. So,
of course.
it's most of the time they probably won't even listen to it. And that's fine because obviously, how can you, if you get that many? So, we're very much just like, just keep doing what we're doing, keep enjoying it, keep putting out tunes. And then hopefully at some point, someone will pick up on it and be like, "Oh shit, okay, let's hit these guys up."
Exactly. I would even look into some of the indie labels in Germany. I know there's a couple that are really artist driven. It's more about the promotion. And obviously, if you want to get like vinyl done, they can get that done as well. I know cassette tapes are coming back, and especially in Japan, those motherfuckers are turning them out like left and right.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because I mean I'm from the '80s, so I grew up with that, and I still prefer vinyl over CD any day of the week. I don't really like digitized music because it just doesn't have the same sound.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but it's just so much more convenient.
It is.
You know?
I mean, it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't collect vinyl, but I thought about getting into it for a bit, and then I realized this is going to cost
expensive.
It's expensive. I was like, because I remember one of my friends, he had all these like Opeth vinyls, and I was listening at his house when we were listening to it, and I'm there like, looking through all the artwork, and it's there, and it's really nice, it's all high quality in HD, and he's like, oh yeah, I might start getting into vinyl collecting, and then I was like, actually, wait, maybe not. I was like, this is going to get expensive really, really quickly. So I was just like, nah. And it's one of those things that once you start, it's like, you probably won't stop because everyone I know who's into it, they're like, look at my collection and they've got like 500, 1,000, whatever vinyls. And it's like, that's a lot of cash, bro. Like,
well, and I think that's part of it. It's an investment.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That you could eventually, you hit a hard time. You could sell that collection for quite a bit, especially nowadays.
It's lucky for me. My wife does collect them, so if ever I don't know what to get her for a birthday or something, that's easy. Get out a jail card. Grab her a vinyl. Doesn't matter what.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So I do actually have one vinyl. Do you know Keith Murray and Jeff Loomis? Them, and then like, obviously Alex Webster.
Oh,
they did a band called Conquering Dystopia. It's like instrumental metal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they only did one record. It was very much just like, that's it, one record. And but it's one of my favorite albums ever. Keith Murray released like a very limited run of those on vinyl with like a nice sort of like graphic disc and things. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy one of those, even though I have no way of playing it, but it sits there in my room and that's it.
It's the fact that
it's never been played, but I've got it, and that's good. It's one of my favorite records, so I was like, yeah, I want that.
Fuck yeah, why not? Shoot. I mean, I got the original pressing of King Diamond's Abigail, Merciful Fate's Melissa, and Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz. That was also a
Nice.
original pressing. I won't let go of those because when I bought them, it was cheap as hell. To try to buy it today, you're looking at like $40.
Yeah.
Sometimes 50, just depending, if they got funny with the inks and whatnot.
Yeah, if they're original pressings, they must be worth quite a lot.
Yep. Holding on to it.
Yeah.
Maybe my kids will need it someday.
Yeah, my friend actually has it now, but I bought when I was a teenager a Metallica's Ride the Lightning, the green one. Yeah, I bought that.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought that, and then it turned out it's actually like a copy. It's not like an original misprint. The whole story with it was the misprint because the factory like put the wrong ink in the printer or whatever, so they got a load in green rather than blue. So mine was like a fake, basically. It wasn't one from that like accidental batch, which is like annoying because I thought I'd found this like gold mine. Yeah, I bought it at like £15, which would be like what, $20, something like that, $20. And I was they go for hundreds online. So I was thinking like, yeah, it's great. And then look, I bought it and then look into more, and it's like, it's a fake. But I was like, it's still cool to have, but like whatever.
Yeah,
it's not the real thing.
So I've been subliminally showing you all out there in the Morgrot universe where you can get official merch from Anoxide. It is anoxideofficial.bigcartel.com. Super fucking easy. I know so many of you out there use that either for music or clothing, anything like that. So very simple. I believe you can get whatever merch that you guys have. You got t-shirts, CDs. Let's let them all know what you got.
Yeah, the kind of illustration of the character on the front of the album. I think so. I don't know, maybe Alex wants to chat more about that concept, but there's a few things on there. All get shipped worldwide and stuff, so no need to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's willing to pay for the shipping, we'll post it there. Like,
Nice.
We'll ship
Let's let them know where they can find you guys, all your stuff, physical media. I mean, trust me, they're with you.
No, if you go for physical, like Big Cartel, you can see the link scrolling at the bottom. So if you go on there, then obviously we're on Bandcamp as well, and then all your like any streaming services you want. You spoke about vinyl. Unfortunately, we don't have vinyl. We looked at doing it, but it's really expensive to get printed on our end. So then we have to sell it for shitloads, and it's like, would people really be buying a vinyl for that much? Maybe not. So yeah, it's something that we'd look into, but it's just it's not cheap to get done on our end. So unfortunately, we haven't got that far yet.
No worries. Maybe on down the line.
Something like it's like $1,000 for like 50 or something. It's pretty.
And it's like a 9-month turnaround.
Yeah,
most people don't realize that
because we're also obviously not on a label. Like we're having to pay for the PR campaign for the album, all the little costs just of like getting stuff on Spotify, all the distribution costs, so it all adds up, and then rehearsal rooms and stuff. So we are some way off making any money from it all.
But to be honest, it's more like you do it because you enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
nobody ever gets into a band thinking they're going to be millionaires.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, to be fair, when I was a teenager, that was the dream. But as you get older and you kind of realize how things actually work, you're like, you know what, this is very much, I'm doing this because I love it and I enjoy it and I like writing and creating music and that kind of stuff.
Humble as always the underground is, because you'll never hear a mainstream artist say that that's why they do it. It's very, very few and far between. They love the paycheck.
But I imagine it must be weird from you say these mainstream artists because at that point it's a business for them, you know.
Exactly.
Suddenly at some point, it must change from the because I imagine when they first start doing it, they're doing it for this love of music, and then at some point there's so much money gets involved, and you know people are reliant on you because people will work for you. So it's like you need to perform and put out your record and it'd be good because there's all these people that need to get paid off the back of it. So it's like it very much does turn from I imagine it's turned from being like a passion to well, I need to do this now because it's my business.
Exactly. And I don't know. I've always been of the feeling of if I'm comfortable, if the bills are paid and I can go like, let's say for a month, do a tour or whatever, that'd be great. And see different parts of the world. Awesome. Do I need to be rich for it though? Fuck no.
No, for sure. And I think within, and also playing the sort of music that we do, it's like you got to think realistically about it. It's very extreme forms of music. It's like there's just not really enough people globally to realistically be looking at any form of like riches,
right.
Even if you look at bands who are like at the top of the business, like you mentioned like Cannibal Corpse earlier. No, I'm sure they're doing like very well for themselves, but they're hardly like rock stars like in the mansions and all that, rolling around in limos. It's like exactly, they're getting by, and I'm sure they have a great life, but it's like we're not talking Guns N' Roses here, like.
And it took them 20 fucking years to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other part of it.
20 years of just constant graft and
constant touring.
Yeah, exactly.
George is not human. His voice is still as strong today as it was when he first joined the band. It's unfucking real.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I definitely cannot wait to see the future of what you guys do here at the Underground. We will definitely continue to repost anything that you guys got coming out. Definitely would love to have you guys back on to promote anything that you're doing if you have a new record coming or touring as well, or shows in general. As a matter of fact, let's let the Morgrot universe know of any shows that you got coming on.
Well, the only show that we actually have booked at the moment is 19th of October. That's like a festival in Manchester.
Ooh.
So, we've got that. That'll be cool. We're looking forward to that. It'll be it'll be good to just like get playing again, and then maybe off the back of that we'll get some more and things. But as I say, because we've only just released this, so now it's kind of we're going to look at doing more shows and things. Now the record's out there, and as I said, the last couple of years, a lot of us have been tied up with kind of doing things in our own like personal lives.
Adulting.
Yeah, adulting, exactly. It's kind of like we haven't really been in a position to sort of hit the road, as it were. So we'll see. But in terms of records and things, I mean, I'm always kind of writing, ticking away on riffs and things in the background. So I've got some stuff written, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be getting around to getting that recorded and out.
Hell yeah. For all the fans that showed up for you today, as well as the new ones that you have just made, what is your lasting message for them?
Go on, Jack.
Your turn.
Lasting message. Keep listening to death metal. Keep listening to what we're doing. We will
keep drinking those beers, getting stuck in down the local.
Keep tuning in stuff like this because it keeps it all alive.
No, for sure it does. I mean, like we very much appreciate the guys sticking around in the chat and asking some questions and things. That's cool.
Awesome. Because as I said, like COVID, we lost so many venues and loads of like people went out of business with all that stuff. So if it's not for like people like jumping on streams like these and going to shows and stuff, we don't get to pretend we're rock stars. So
we pretend we're rock stars for like 30 minutes and then like come off stage.
It's like, back to the grind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then the next morning you're there at work with a hangover, like, oh my god, come on.
And then somebody goes, "Hey, I caught your show. Do you remember what you did?"
Yeah. Like, do I want to remember what I did?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Definitely, everybody around the world that is listening, support your local scenes. And honestly, the independent metal community, the metal community at large, is probably, in my opinion, the best group of any kind of fan anybody could ever want. It's very close knit. Anoxide is definitely one of these bands that stands out amongst so many bands. And I'm not saying that there are suck ass bands or anything like that. I'm just saying there's tons of them out there, but these guys stand out from all those different acts. So like, share, follow. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, obviously YouTube, and of course all the streaming services as well. So every little bit helps to support what they do. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time to join us here at the Underground. And all of you that showed up this early in the day, because normally, the Lord of Darkness here doesn't come out till the nighttime. So I am so thankful for that. You were going to say?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, that's awesome. I keep forgetting the time it is for you guys. So mobilizing at that hour, I'd struggle to do that for most things. So, yes.
I feel that. Absolutely.
When you're getting paid for it, mate, like, you're not going to do it for free.
Exactly right. Like I said, the Underground fans are the best in the world. Thank you to all my demons out there. And like I said, you know where to go. You want to get physical copies, go to their big cartel and check them out all over social media. So as you're about to finish the rest of your day, if you're on the job, and I know you're listening to me, and that just warms my black heart. But the most important thing, if the boss comes by and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" you say, "Stay heavy."